Okay, we are live. So, alright, today we will talk about chapter 5 through 8. Okay, chapter 5 will do ethics, fraud, consumer protection, and fair lending. 今天我们会讲章子5到8 OK， 章子5的话，我们就是说该做的事情 OK， 这是 ethics， fraud 这是诈骗，保护消费者，加上了不用歧视任何的客户 OK， fair lending. So let me see how big this chapter is. Okay, so we're going to breeze through this. Okay, and later on we're going to do how to qualify the buyer. Okay, just like how do you qualify the buyer to buy a home, how to do the refinance. Okay, same thing, very similar. It's just in the numbers. So we need to know how to do that. Okay, and I'll show you how manually. Okay, you could use any apps or calculator or whatever. Okay, but we do it manually, so you know what to do. Okay, 我们还会教你怎么去找你的客户 ，right？ 他有没有条件来做这个贷款买房子，做贷款还是重贷款来做重贷款的 ，OK？ 就是用简单的方式来教你们 ，OK？ 你就知道他可以买多少房，还是反过来了，他有多少薪水，这个薪水，每年每个月的工资等等进来的，可以买到这栋房子。Okay, ethics. Let's talk about ethics. Okay, 我们看看那个那个行为了。OK， 这个也可以叫一个商道了。OK， 就是我们做生意的、做人啊、做什么事情有负责性的。OK， 这个叫 ethics。Okay, ethics is simply doing what's right. Okay, 你要做对的事情。Okay, ethics are the morals and values that dictate one's choices. Okay, 你看一个人的选择，他做什么动作、行为等等。Okay, 这是他的 ethics. Ethics is the application of the golden rule. What's the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. OK， 你怎么对人，人家反过来就怎么去对你了。OK， 这是这个很基本一个概念。OK，so ethics is good business. OK， 你有好的 ethics. OK， 就是会带来好的生意了。OK， 因为口碑外面的话讲，这个人非常不错。OK， 他负责任等等。OK， 就有好的生意来了。Okay, good ethics equals what? Happy client, you get referrals, and you get more income to you. Okay, 你好做事情。Okay, 你的客户满意了，他介绍给你另外的客户，这样子的话呢，越来越多的生意了。Okay, 越来越可以多赚钱。So for the National Association of Realtors, okay, NAR. 他们有一个 Code of Ethics and Standard Practice， 它是告诉什么是对的，什么是错误的，这些行为。然后呢，我们就是又讲一讲 ，OK， 诈骗行为 ，OK， 我们做贷款的 ，OK，MLO 里面，OK， 很多呢，就是有很多诈骗行为 ，OK， 不单只是我们经纪人的方面 ，OK， 这是客户的方面，还是他专门去诈骗这个银行的这些人 ，OK， 不管是谁 ，OK， 但是最普遍这是这个 buyer borrower OK the most common fraud out there is mortgage fraud okay it's from the buyer the borrower okay intentionally misrepresentation or omission of material facts by applicants to influence a mortgage loan lender to give them the loan okay 他就是诈骗行为就是不给银行一些东西啊，还是他给错误的东西啊，还是他给银行假的东西 OK 然后呢就可以拿到这个房屋贷款、重贷款等等的 OK 所以这个呢就是买主跟借款主 OK buyer and or borrower right that commit mortgage fraud okay this is called mortgage fraud okay MLO right don't even know they were given bad information or fraud documents okay fake documents okay so be careful right how you review the documents okay and if you have a question right tell the loan processor okay and they will check it out okay so that's one okay there are many types of fraud okay fraud for profit okay so on the test right 考试的时候 they will ask you different types of frauds okay 他考试他会问你很多种这种诈骗行为的 OK 你又知道 okay fraud for profit very simple right 赚银行的钱呢 right they make the money from the bank okay it usually involve multiple loans right 因为你做一个不要做一个了 right 你去诈骗你的大量这样去诈骗银行 right 所以这种行为就是 multiple loans okay elaborate schemes and collusion of industry professionals who are paid for the participation okay 他合并另外的人 OK 比如说 MLO OK 还有谁啦 appraiser OK straw buyers OK 这是假的 buyer OK 等等 OK agents listing agents or selling agents OK 他们合并起来去诈骗银行的钱 so this is fraud for profit OK 大家都有盈利 OK 他付点钱给一个 buyer 有好的 credit score 等等 right 他有付钱给这个 appraiser right 把这个价位调高 OK 很多事情可以行为一个诈骗行为 OK 来去骗 OK 银行的钱 OK so they defraud the funds from the bank and after they get the funds right they don't pay the mortgage right 他拿到钱之后他都不付这个 mortgage 了 OK air loan fraud scheme OK property and borrow are non-existent 这个叫 air loan 空气的贷款表示什么空的嘛 right 什么是空呢房子是假的 borrower 也是假的 OK 这个叫 air loan fraud or one of each or both OK Stop expanding. Hello? Sorry about the interruption. Okay, silent second. What does that mean? Okay, 第二贷款是无声音的 OK 就是查不到 OK 还是他蒙住你们 OK so it's a scheme where down payment is actually borrowed 他 的首付是借回来的 ，OK， or carry as a second mortgage by the seller, but never documented, which give the first mortgage a false impression that the buyer is legit. OK， 所以这个头款，这个首付，他看不到这个首付，他银行以为他已经有这笔钱了 ，OK， 比如说这个屋主给他一个 second loan，OK， so this is silent second，OK， 这一类的诈骗行为是 silent second。OK，property flipping，OK， 这个 property flipping 不像普通的 ，OK， 我们在金柜去做换房子 ，OK，do not confuse the fraudulent scheme of property flipping with the legitimate practice of acquiring distressed property and fixing them up and reselling them at a legit market price。它不是讲这种普通翻房子这种生意 ，OK， 它讲是用贷款的方式来做 flipping，OK， so it's a scheme in which recently acquired property is resold for considerable profit with the actual inflated value, often as collusion of an appraiser。OK， 它这个很简单，它买回来 ，OK， 很短时间它就是卖出去，然后靠这个估价师把这个价位提高，这样子的话，它是可以凑这个钱出来。比如说他买回来是20万的房子。OK， 然后呢，他很快就卖出去，卖多少？卖30万。OK， 他的差额就是10万块了。OK，10万块，这个银行借出来 80% 嘛 ，right？80% 他就是失去8万块了。OK， 他就凑这个8万块出来。OK， 来赚这笔钱，然后他重复这样去做。这种从贷款就是卖了 ，OK， 买卖 ，OK， 这叫 property flipping， 用贷款的方式来通过估价师来诈骗银行 ，OK， 好，下一个。So real estate fraud examples, okay, there are many out there, okay, I'm not going to bother to read all the examples, okay, read them yourself, okay, 这边有很多种这种例子了 ，OK， 你就读一读 ，OK， 很多都是通过 IRS right， 因为每一个这个交易 right， 它 escrow 会报上去的 ，OK， you know FBI。联邦政府的警察来调查，国税局等等 ，OK， 因为它发生多了案子 ，right， 不单止一个两个 ，right， 它是10几个、20几个 ，OK， 这样子的话，它就是有一个诈骗行为，它就是靠这个来赚钱啊，这个做这个诈骗生意来赚银行的钱 ，OK，developer 一样 ，OK。他这个金主商 ，OK， 他最后卖不出去的房子，也是用这个方式来诈骗银行的钱 ，OK，developer also, right? Toward the end, a few property they cannot sell it. They use this type of fraud schemes to, you know, get the bank's money, and then they could, you know, make profit.Right, or at least break even on the last couple of properties. Okay, that's on the market. So oftentimes developers, okay, they couldn't get rid of their houses toward the end. They use frauds to get them sold. Okay, 很多这个金主商他卖不掉一两栋房子，后面呢他就找一个假的 buyer 上去把它买下来 ，OK， 他不亏本。都 OK 了 ，OK， 所以他有这种诈骗行为去做好他的生意了 ，OK。 还有一种 OK， 就是 real estate agent 跟 mortgage broker 他也是大量的这样子去操作 OK， 23个 property OK 都是用那个行为来操作 OK， 生意好的话这个时候就 OK， 而生意不好的话他就是卖不出去啊等等 right， 他就用这些行为诈骗行为来做贷款 OK， 他就不想亏钱了 right， 他卖不掉的话他也要宣布破产了，所以他走歪的路来去救自己的公司等等 OK， 用诈骗行为来就是诈骗银行的钱啊， So they make frauds defrauding the bank's money to get rid of their own problems OK， but oftentimes they get caught OK， so another example in Texas OK， 德州这边也是不管哪个州了都有这个事情发生了 OK， 所以呢他有假的 buyer 等等 OK， 然后呢也是估价师把这个价钱提高等等 OK， 所以这种这是 mortgage loan officer right MLO sentence right， 他也有在里面帮助他们去做贷款等等 OK， 做假的东西 OK， 所以这个要注意 OK， 尽量的话资料 OK， 给你的资料 OK 是 borrower 跟 broker 他们跟那个 buyer 给你的 OK， 所以他 email 给你东西你只是给 forward right forward email OK to your loan processor or to the bank OK， 客人给你的东西你只是给银行给这个 loan processor 转过去 OK forward 过去 OK， 不用下载下来然后重做 email 等等 OK 这样子看起来的话你在中间帮这个买主跟借款者去诈骗银行，因为它真的是假的东西，这个要注意 OK， so be careful when you get the information from the borrower and the buyer right， just forward the email to your loan processor or the lender directly okay without downloading it and then do another email okay, so don't get caught in between the fake documents okay, you just pass it on, so I didn't touch it right, it just passed through my mailbox to you okay, so nothing is done when you forward it okay. Alright, consumer protection. After the 08 they went into law. Dodd-Frank was signed into law 2010 okay, as a response to the Great Recession of the 2000 and is administered by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So this department oversees this law okay, Dodd-Frank. It's to protect the consumer okay, 这个保护消费者 okay， 因为然后这个部门CFPB 管住这个法律的 OK, Title 14 Mortgage Reform and Anti-Predatory Lending Act OK, 它就把这个贷款这个生意 OK 改变了，然后呢就不给银行去反过来就是怂恿这些消费者去拿这种不良的贷款 OK， so subtitle A okay, Title 14 Subtitle A Residential Mortgage Loan Origination Standard okay, MLO Any person receive compensation right 任何人赚到钱佣金 for or represents to the public that he or she will take a residential loan application okay, 帮人家填表 assist an application in obtaining loan， 帮助客户去拿贷款 ，or negotiate the term of the loan， 跟银行讨价还价 ，right？ 利息啊，什么计划啊等等 ，OK， 都需要 license。 They need license. Okay. Subtitle B. Minimum standards for mortgages. Okay. 它有一个很基本的要求。Okay. 就是大家都知道，你没有资格的话，你不到这个资格，你就拿不到这个 mortgage. OK. 所以我们讲 qualified mortgage 这是什么意思？这是有 standard 可以在第二市场买卖的 ，OK， secondary market. All these qualified mortgage could be bought and sold, okay? Okay, Title 14, continue. Subtitle C. High cost mortgages is a consumer credit transaction that is occurred by a consumer's principal dwelling, which includes the APR test, cons and fees, and counseling if required. Okay, 这是高费用的贷款。Okay, 他可能信用不好等等 ，right？ 他把他的利息提高，他的费用也提高，付点数等等，所以呢，这一种也是他观察的比较紧的 ，OK？ So they look at high cost mortgages, right? Do your APR tests, your points and fees, and counseling if needed. Okay, let's talk about fair lending. Okay, federal fair housing law. Okay, way back. Okay, Civil Rights Act of 1866. First piece of legislation passed by Congress after Civil War. Right, 它内建 right 美国内战 okay that dealt with providing equal property rights for all citizens. 所有人民都公平的 ，OK， 1866年 ，That's the first piece of legislation， OK， 第一个法律出来就是给所有的人民平等的去买卖房子，关于房子的权利 ，OK， and then executive order right prohibit discrimination， 这个是歧视的法律出现了 ，OK。In residential housing, FHA or VA loan, as well as loans involving federal funds. Okay, 如果联邦政府担保的，它就有管住，你不可以歧视任何人。Okay, so Civil Rights Act of 1964. Okay, look at this, almost 100 years, right? 98 years. It took them 98 years. Okay, to merge these two. Okay, make executive order law into law. Okay, so cannot discriminate. Okay, if they qualify, you should give them a loan. Okay, 不可以歧视任何人。So Title 8 of Civil Rights Act 1968. Okay, this one was 64, right? Make it into law, right? This one is Federal Fair Housing Act. Okay, 1968. So for housing only, okay, discrimination application based on what? You cannot go by the national origin, okay? 不管它是哪一个国家的人种、颜色 ，okay? 白的、黑的、黄的、红的 ，okay? Religion 宗教 ，race 人种 ，sex 性男女 ，familial status 结婚没结婚还是离婚 ，okay? And handicap 残废的都不可以歧视他们 ，okay? And then redlining enforcement, okay, that's for the bank. 专门给银行 okay, they cannot discriminate based on a area, right? Let's say an area map. They say, okay, this is a sore spot, right? Lots of foreclosure, right? So we don't lend money into this area. So that's called redlining because they use a red pen to circle an area. Okay. Hello? 哎，王小姐，不好意思，我在开课，星期三2点到5点。好，5点后 ，OK， 好，拜拜 ，OK， 拜拜。Okay, so this is called redlining, okay, because they use a red pen to say, okay, this is the spot we don't lend anything to, okay? So redlining is against the law. Okay, so equal housing opportunity and equal housing lender poster, right? So we have to have a poster posted up so inform everybody that we don't discriminate. Alright? Okay. 所有的银行做房地产贷款的等等 right 都要有这个 poster. Okay, we have to update ours. Okay. Alright, continue. Okay, we also have the Community Reinvestment Act. Okay, 这是重投资 ，OK， 重开发嘛 ，right？ 一个城市它有一些地区不良的地区 ，OK， 没人到了，没人去，所以呢，它给这些金主城市了，会给他们去重投资、重开发这些地区 ，OK。Home Mortgage Disclosure Act exposes incident of redlining. OK， 这个也是，我们填表的时候要填一些东西。联邦政府会用这个东西来调查这个银行，他到底这个区有没有做生意，他都知道。OK， 他有没有歧视redlining 这个案子，这是案子。OK， ACOA, right? Equal Credit Opportunity Act, ACOA, is to require consumer report agency adapt procedure to meet the needs of commerce regarding what? Consumer credit, personnel, insurance, and other info. Okay, so this law covers a lot, right? All about the credit, hiring, company hiring, and insurance, right? You could deny people insurance, but this is to protect them, okay? 这个法律保护消费者的信用 ，OK？ 他公司请人这个也是不可以歧视人的 ，OK？ 买保险也是加其他的东西 ，OK？ 这是保护消费者。Okay, Federal Fair Housing Law continue. Okay, we also have the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay, FCRA. Okay, is to give consumer rights as to who has access to their credit file, and to know what is in their file, and the right to correct inaccurate information. Okay, 所以他每一年 ，OK， 这些公司又给你一份免费的信用报告。OK， 这3个公司 ，Equifax、Experian and TransUnion， 这3个信用公司 ，OK， 它就是做这些报告出来 ，OK， 它每一年又给你一个免费的报告 ，OK， 但是你要注意，外面很多公司是。有点诈骗行为，他讲 free report， 但是30天之内你要取消你这个 membership， 如果不取消的话，他就是每一个月 charge 你大概10几块、20几块、30几块 Okay, some company they could provide you free report, right? But if you don't cancel your membership within 30 days, right, they will charge you each and every month a membership fee, right? $15, $20, $30, etc. Okay, and by the time you cancel, right, they say, oh, you need 30-day notice to cancel. So then that's 2 months. You pay them, $40, $60 already. Okay. So getting a credit score is anywhere from $35 to $50. Okay, that's the going price right now. Okay, typically when we do it, it's about $50. Okay, 50块左右，35块到50块。But you could request personally from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion for free once every year. Okay. Alright, the real estate industry and fair lending. OK， 我们关于房产的方面的话，是怎么去处理不歧视人家的东西。OK， 我们有这个 Code of Ethics, Standard of Practice。OK， 然后你看到别人去歧视别人的话，你也可以报应上去。OK， Race 人种 ，Color 颜色 ，Religion 宗教 ，Sex 男女就是性。Handicap 残废 ，Familial Status 他结婚没有结婚，单身离婚。National Origin 他从哪个国家来的。Alright, Voluntary Affirmative Marketing Agreement. Okay, VAMA. Okay, so basically they pledge the support for fair housing, right? They encourage non-discrimination. Okay, so they work together to make sure everybody is treated fairly. Okay, 这是平等的 ，right？ 我不管你什么人种等等 ，right？ 你有资格去做贷款去买房子，你就有可以拿到 ，OK， 这是服务。Alright, here's an alphabet soup. Okay, on the exam, you better know all of these. Okay, because they won't tell you what it is. Okay, what is TOLA? Okay, what is a COA? Right, what is RESPA? HOPA, right? HMDA, right? The Home Mortgage Disclosure Act. Okay, what's the SAVE Act? Right, that's when they have MLO requirement, right? Fair credit reporting, right? Etc. Right? All of these, right? You have to know what they are. Okay? 所有这些单词啊 ，right？ 你们就知道它怎么回事。Okay? This is Truth in Lending Act. Okay? TILA. And is Regulation Z. Okay? For example. So all of these acts, okay, you have to match it up with the regulation. Okay, you could Google it, right? List of lending regulations. Okay, 这个你可以在 Google 上面搜一下 ，OK， 就是 lending regulations。OK， 他们从 regulation B to Z。OK， 好像没有 regulation A。OK。So all of these you have to know, all of these, okay? Alright, so let's take a quick 5-minute break. So let's be back at 2:50, okay? So break till 2:50 p.m. Then we go to chapter 6. And then we'll do the regulation of how to do the loan, okay? Okay, so let me see how the YouTube people is there. Alright, good. Okay, we have people on here as well, so see you guys in 5 minutes. Okay, we are back. Alright, chapter 6. We'll talk about federal regulation, okay? 联邦政府的法律 okay? 给我们那个基本的 guideline, okay? 怎么去做贷款 okay? 所以所有的美国全50州都是用这个方式来做贷款 okay? So, Truth in Lending Act, TILA. Okay, you have to memorize what tilde is, and it's also regulation Z。 OK， 这个名称你要记住 OK， Truth in Lending Act TILA tilde， 它也是一个 regulation Z。 OK， so all these three are the same. Okay, Truth in Lending Act tilde regulation Z, same thing. Okay. Okay, see over here, okay, Regulation Z. So it was implemented by Regulation Z of the Consumer Protection Act. Okay. 这个法律就是 Consumer Protection， 就是保护消费者的法律，从 Regulation Z 出来的 ，and it's first enacted in 1968. Okay. So it defines， right？ 它1968年出来的这条法律，就是从那个保护消费者的法律出现的。Okay? It defines and standardizes how to calculate the cost of credit by mandating disclosure of annual percentage rate, which is the single number allowing easy comparison of the loan rates. Okay? So 它要求所有银行 ，OK， 把费用含在一起，所有的费用 ，OK， 不包括这个信用报告 ，OK， 不包括这个，等一下，Stop Max maybe. Yes, what's this? Yeah, I'm teaching an online class right now. Can you call me back after 5, or I'll call you back after 5? Okay. Sure. Yeah, I mean you could look at the outside first, but we have. Okay. All right, then I'll call you back after 5 to arrange for showing. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Okay, so two things 两样东西它不含的里面就是这个信用报告加估价费用。Okay, two items that is not included in the cost is credit report and appraisal report. Okay, and they come up with the percentage. Okay, amortized for whatever 30 years. Okay, and your interest, right? The interest rate is part of it. Okay, it all goes into here. Okay, I'll explain a little bit later on. Okay, I'll do that right now. Okay, so APR is composed of naturally the interest, okay, plus origination fee, plus underwriting fee, plus other fees. Okay, but it does not include, right, credit report, appraisal report. Okay, these two is not included in there. Okay, so if you don't have any of these fees, okay, your APR would equal your interest. Okay, so if your APR is 3.5 and your interest rate is also 3.5, what does that mean? That means you have 0 fees. Okay, if they're equal. If they are not equal and is greater than, right, then you know you have fees. Okay, so typically if your interest rate is 3.5, okay, APR is probably maybe 3.625, something like that. Okay, because they have fees. Okay， 所以我怎样讲 ？APR 就是 annual percentage rate， OK， 它包含你的利息加上 right 你做贷款的费用 right 点数啊 right， 它也有 underwriting fee 银行的费用 right 加其他的费用，但是它不包含这个信用报告，不包含估价费。OK， 如果你的利息是 3.5， 它的 APR 也是 3.5， 表示你没有费用。OK， 如果你的利息是 3.5， 但是它 APR 是 3.625 还是高于 3.5 的话，你就有费用，就是这个概念。Okay, so everybody should understand what APR means and how to calculate it. Okay, so the purpose is to enable consumer to make credit comparison between various credit sources that informed decision can be possible. Okay, so going back here, right? I just look at the APR. That's all I need to know. I could compare Bank A, Bank B, Bank C. Whoever has the lowest APR, right? They have the lowest fees and lowest interest. Okay, so that's the key. Then you could compare. Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Okay, which one is better? Okay, but if you just look at interest only, right? 你只有看报的利息的话 right? 你不知道它另外的费用 right? 你怎么知道它的 APR 是什么？不知道。它可能的利息低，但是它费用高。OK， 所以你最后全部的利息交出来的话，那费用等等高于 right 那个高利息的贷款。OK， 所以很多人都 shopping around 这是 interest rate。They shop around interest rate only. They don't ask for any of the other fees. Okay, so when you're shopping around, ask for APR. But in order to get the APR, right, they have to know your whole story. Okay， 这个 APR 比较难，为什么呢？它要知道你的情形啊 ，right， 每个人的情形不一样，你的 FICO 好不好 ，right， 你贷款贷多少 ，right， 等等 ，OK， 你有什么 program 都不一样的 ，OK。Okay, so they also contain provision that apply to advertising, right? 它打广告也是，它提到一个数值 right? If they mention any number in the advertisement, they have to let you know what the APR is. Okay? Any number, if they say down payment how much, right? Only $10,000 down, right? They have to mention APR, right? They say, oh, low monthly payment of $2,000. Okay? They have to mention APR. Okay? 它打广告讲任何的数值出来的话，它必须要讲给你听的 APR。比如说他讲，我们很低的利息 2.5， 他要讲 APR 给你听。如果你广告说 right， 你只有首付只有 1%， right， 只有1万块的首付，他要给你这个 APR。所以他打广告也是很严格的。Also right of rescission, 3 days. You get the final statement, you wait 3 days, and then you sign. Then it's okay. And some trigger points, right? you have all of the 6 trigger points, then they have to give you a loan estimate. OK， 你给银行6种的资料，他有了全有，他马上又给你3天之内，他又给你一个预算的报告。OK， 费用做贷款的预算的报告。OK， so this is Regulation Z. Okay, 20% of the regulation is focused on Regulation Z. Very important regulation. Okay， 这个比较重要的。Alright, history of truth in lending. OK， 它的历史是什么？Prior to Taylor, right? 没有这个法律之前 ，deception is the actual rate. Charge is practically the rule rather than exception. OK， 所以很多银行之前的法律之前呢，它是用这个历史来诈骗，不是诈骗的，就是怂恿人家去跟他做生意嘛 ，right？ 它的费用等等，就在后面挡住这个消费者。OK，A number of banking bills have been introduced required disclosure but were defeated. Okay, finally, Congress passed Truth in Lending Act in 1968. 它等到1968年的时候就有这个法律出来。Okay， 现在谁管住了 ？OK， 这是这个 CFPB Consumer Financial Protection Bureau。OK， 管住这个法律。Alright, so Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they oversees the Dodd-Frank reform and TILA. Okay. The creditor, who's the creditor? Right, the lender. Okay, or the bank. Right, 银行. Okay, these 3 are the same. Okay, creditor, lender, okay, or the bank. Under TILA, the creditor party giving the loan is responsible for compliance with the act. Okay, the party giving the loan, okay, meaning they fund the money, right? They have the money. Creditors are defined as persons who extend credit more than 25 times a year, more than 5 for real estate. 你做5个 loan 关于房产的，还是你做 loan 普通的 loan 25次一年，就属于 creditor. So mortgage brokers who arrange loans through private investors may be considered creditor if they use broker-controlled funds to fund a loan. 因为通过他这个公司这个钱去做贷款的话，他也是一个 creditor. In order to provide fast funding, they then assign the note to private investor once the investor agree to purchase the loan and deliver funds to the broker. Okay. 通过谁的手出来这个钱，这个就是 creditor. Okay, so whoever hands you the money, that party is the creditor. Exempt transaction. Okay, exempt. 跟这个法律无关的交易 business loans. Okay, credit over 54,000. It changes every year. This is like personal loan. Personal loans. And business loans, right? 商业的都他管不住 okay? Business loans is a different animal altogether, okay? Not unlike the consumer residential loans. Okay, this style of limitation does not apply to loans secured by real estate or by personal property used or expected to be used as consumer principal residence. Okay, so 关房产没关的 ，OK 这个。Alright, Real Estate Settlement Procedure Act, okay, RESPA. R-E-S-P-A, RESPA. Okay, what is this? Okay, 这个是什么东西？ So it's back in 1974. It requires lender, broker, servicer to provide a borrower with pertinent and timely disclosure of the nature of the costs of the real estate settlement process. Okay, 它零零碎碎的费用要告诉消费者。Okay， 譬如说 title 啊、escrow 啊、recording fee 啊 ，etc. Okay， 很多费用它有告诉，每一笔钱都有告诉。Okay， RESPA forbids kickback or use require title company and limit amount of funds required to deposit in escrow accounts. Okay， 它不可以给就是第三者公司去给接受费。Okay, no kickbacks, forbids. Any form of value is considered kickback. Okay, 有价值的东西就算他给你钱了 right? If they take you out to dinner, they give you a ticket to a ball game. Okay, anything value over $25, right? Anything of value, okay, is considered kickback. Okay, 他不给 ，OK， 这是第三者公司、服务公司 ，OK， 给你们接受费 ，OK， 比如说他请你吃饭，他开 party 请你去 party， 他给你门票去看 show， 去看球赛，都不可以的 ，OK。So they have give you example on a test, right? 给你一个例子，考试的时候 ，Okay, they say that a title company, right, invites your whole brokerage, right, 一个公司，房地产公司，一个 title 公司，请一个房产公司所有人去 party, okay. The one who went, right, the agent who went, they violated the law. The one that did not, they did not violate the law. Okay, because it's something of value, right? You go to a party, what do? You drink, you eat, right? They give out raffle prizes, whatever, right? Gifts, right? So it's a form of kickback. Okay, 它这是给你钱呐，这是有价值的东西。所以 agent 从这个房产公司去他们的 party 的话，他犯规了。Okay. Alright, RESPA protect consumer from predatory lending practice. 它还是保护消费者 ，OK， 不给银行去给消费者不良的贷款产品 ，OK， 比如说高利息的东西 ，OK， 等等。Okay, RESPA deal with these problems by requiring all lender to provide 3 disclosure. Okay, 第一是个 booklet， 他们给他们的一本书 ，OK， 解释 ，OK， 做贷款的有什么费用在里面。And then second, they used to have good faith estimate, now is LE. 它以前叫 good faith estimate， 现在我们叫 loan estimate. We call it loan estimate instead of good faith estimate. And then uniform settlement statement, okay? Now we call it CD. Closing disclosure. Okay, 这个清单 ，OK， 以前叫这个清单，现在叫 CD Closing Disclosure. Alright, so let's talk about the process. Okay, so this is TILA, RESPA, Integrated Disclosure. So this is the TRID rule. Right, it composed of TILA, right, what to disclose, and then these two combine into a disclosure, right? 宣布怎么去宣布 怎么去做贷款的行程 ，OK。So TRID is what we see before, right? The procedure. So loan estimate within 3 business days applying. Okay, this is the rule. Anything change in here, they have to do it again, right? Give you another LE. Okay, and then toward the closing, right? 3 days before, they give you the CD. Okay, after CD is out, plus 3 days, you could sign on X loan docs, and then you could get funding. Okay. 他没有签这个借款书啊、合约等等的话 ，OK， 3天之前他又给你一个清单，看完之后等3天，然后你签字 ，OK， 然后他的放款是这样子来做的。So 3 business days before closing the loan, the borrower received the closing disclosure form CD. Okay. Before signing, right, borrower should compare both forms that they match. LE should match CD. Okay. Sometimes the CD is better than the LE, right? So that's good. Sometimes a little bit bad because of the interest, right? Because you didn't lock in a good interest, right? Then the CD will be bad, right? Worse. 有时候呢 CD 比 LE 更好了 right? 看看那个利息了 right? 你在哪一天锁利息 right? Okay, the lender has 3 days, 3 business days to provide the borrower with corrected forms. Anytime they change, right? 3 days, they give you a new form. Okay? 有什么改变的话 right? 会影响那个贷款价值等等有3天重弄一个报告出来，不管它是 LE 还是 CD， 3 business days, OK， 3个工作天，它出改的文件出来。Okay, form of disclosure, right? So 4 individual disclosure required by both TILA and RESPA have now been combined under TRID into 2 disclosure. 以前有4个 before you have 4 disclosures, now you only have 2. Okay, 以前有4个，现在只有2个。So the loan estimate takes care of what? It combines the good faith estimate, GFE, and the truth in lending disclosure. Okay, so they combine these 2 into LE. Okay, LE 有以前2个宣布表 Okay, closing disclosure, it replaces the hot one, and final truth in lending disclosure. Okay, these 2 documents. So CD, it has the hot one statement and the disclosure. So October 3rd, 2015, right? That's the date. I still remember. Everybody is waiting, right? How to do this new thing, right? Because it's never done before. Everybody's worried, right? How would it go? 10月3号2015年 right? 所有的 MLO 所有的公司都怕 right? 怎么去做这个新的操作方式 okay? 大家都很紧张了这时候 OK， 所以现在呢就变得很简单 OK， 2个报告出来宣布出来 OK， LE 跟 CD 就好了。So now it's a lot easier, right? Once we know what to expect, okay? And there are some rough spots, right? They have to iron things out, okay? But right now it's easy. Just 2 disclosure, LE and CD. Okay? Alright, other disclosures, right? The TRID rule does not apply to home equity line of credit, HELOCs. Okay? It doesn't apply. Reverse mortgages does not apply. And mobile home loans does not apply. Okay, remember that. Okay? 你会记住 right? 这个 TRID rule okay? 不是给 HELOC 的 okay? 就是你房子有钱抽钱出来用这个 line of credit 还是做返回贷款 okay? 然后车房的贷款 okay? 他不用那个 TRID rule okay? They go back to the standard okay? It doesn't include in the TRID rule for these three. HELOC, reverse mortgage, and mobile home. Okay, remember that. Okay, 要记住。Okay， 他可能考试会考你的。All right, LE, loan estimate form. Okay, let's see where we are. We are here, halfway through. Okay, let's speed through stuff. Okay. Alright, so it looks something like this, right? Loan estimate. So this is the bank's name. Okay. 30-year long term. For purchase, fixed rate. Okay. Now notice what's the loan amount, right? And the interest rate. Interest rate is 3.875. And this is the monthly. Okay. Estimated total monthly payment. Okay. 每个月的 payment. They have mortgage insurance, escrow. Okay. So this is 1 to 7, so it's a 7-year arm, right? Okay. Estimated tax and assessment 200块 $200 $206. Estimating closing costs $8,000. Estimated cash to close 16 grand. Okay, so it's gonna cost them 8 grand to do this loan. Right? So let's continue. Right, so other loan costs, right? Origination costs 1,800. Services that you can shop for, right? Appraisal fee, credit report, right? Service that you cannot shop for. Service that you could shop for. Okay. And then over here, right? It'll tell you, right? Right here. APR. 4.274. Alright? So when you look at APR and you look back at your interest rate, 3.875. So APR is greater than the interest rate, right? So you have cost involved. Right? 它的 APR 比它的利息高嘛 right? 它利息只有 3.875 它这边是 4.27 所以它有费用在里面含费用在里面的 Okay, now let's look at the closing disclosure. Again, you're going to see the same thing, right? How much is taking out? 162. Interest rate 3.875, right? Monthly principal is this much, right? So are they the same? Let's compare. Okay, exactly the same. Check. Okay. This is the monthly. Okay. The tax. Okay, they itemize everything, right? All the costs. And let's see if they give you an APR. Okay, on here APR. See APR? 4.174. Okay, what was the APR before? LE. Let's look at it. 4.274. So the CD is better, right? The actual cost is slightly better. Okay, 4.174. 274. So 0.1. Okay, so the final cost is lower than what they estimated. It's always that way, okay? Because they don't want to pay. Okay, if the lender estimate wrong in some cost, they have to eat it. Okay， 银行很保守的，它开始估高点的费用。OK， 因为有些东西它报出来就是这个数字。OK， 如果它不报高一点的话，它会亏钱。OK， 这是这个情况。So as a consumer, right？ 你是这个消费者，你就是比较 LE， you compare LE to CD. Okay, very simple, right? You just look at your APR. Okay, match the interest rate. If they're the same, APR is almost the same, then you're good to go. Very simple. Okay, this is not rocket science. Okay, this is like 5th grade math, right? You're just comparing apples to apples, right? Compare these two. Okay, so this rounds up chapter 6. Alright, so right now we're at 327. We'll break to 330, okay? Okay, let's go back to here. Okay. Break to 430. 330. Alright, chapter 7, we're going to do finance instruments. Alright, the promissory notes and other good stuff, okay? 这是借款书啊，抵押书啊等等 okay? Let me see how long the chapter is. This is fairly long, okay? And then chapter 8, we do loan process. And that's about medium. Okay, we should be able to finish all 4 chapters. And then we're going to talk about how to qualify the buyer, okay? So let's take a break until 3:30. See you later. Alright, 3:30, we are back. 3:31. Okay, finance instrument. What is finance instrument? Ladies and gentlemen, right? Look at your purse, look at your wallet, respectively. You will see a lot of finance instruments inside your wallet or your pocketbook, okay? Cash being one of the finance instruments, okay? Your checkbook, your credit card, and the like, right? So let's see how they define it. Okay. Now they talk about lending, right? This vocabulary is called hypothecation. 这个单词叫 hypothecation. And you take out a loan from a lender, and the lender require you to give them a collateral, which is the house. Okay, 它有抵押你的房子。Okay, 抵押这部分的 collateral. So this type of action, okay, is defined as hypothecation. Okay, 这是借款，抵押借款。Okay, 抵押房子来借款。So real estate finance is based on the principle of hypothecation. Is to provide title to property as security for loan without giving up possession. Okay, the house is yours. Okay, its owners, they don't give it to the bank. The bank cannot use it. Okay, 这个 title 这是一个意思，给他们 OK 一个抵押 OK 不是给房子给银行的，房子不是银行的 OK 这个要记住。A lot of people think that when they get a loan, the house belongs to the bank. By law, it's not. OK 法律上 OK 你借款的话，这个房子不是银行的 OK 这个房子还是你的名字，你只把这个房子押给银行 OK 押去给银行，万一你不付钱的话 OK 他有通过法律来拍卖你的房子 OK 然后呢他拍卖完之后 OK 没人要 OK 他拿到回手上，这个时候这个房子是属于银行的了 OK So not until they foreclose you and no one bid on it or higher than what the loan amount is, right? The bank picks it back. At that time, it's called real estate owned. Then and then, it belongs to the bank. Okay? So everything prior to that is still the owners. Okay? 没有拍卖之前，银行没有收回房子之前，房子这是屋主的。So the person does not surrender the use or possession of the property. OK， 他可以用啊，他可以住啊，他可以租出去啊，等等 ，OK 都可以的，不是银行的财产 ，OK。Most buyer must finance at least part of the purchase. So good rule to remember. If you can't finance properly, you probably can't sell it later. Okay, 很多人没有这么多钱，没有薪金嘛来买房子。Okay, 他必须有贷款的，多多少少都有贷款。Okay? Alright, promissory notes, 借款书。They got many types, okay, but we'll just talk about the basic ones here, okay? 它有很多种类的，但是我们就是讲基本的借款书。Before a lender will finance the purchase of a house, borrower must promise to repay the fund, right? 他们有写证明他有还钱呢，right? 这是这个借款书。So it's written to promise to pay money back. Okay, the maker is the borrower, right? Payee, right, is the bank. Okay. The borrower say, I so and so promise to pay ABC or XYZ bank back. Okay. 1 second. Stop Max, may I help you? Yeah, this is Stop Max Realty. I couldn't hear you. Michael Yang? Okay, do you have his cell phone? Oh, okay, just text him. No one's at the office. Sorry. Yeah, just text him and wait for his reply, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. Yes. If that's the only way I could reach him too, is through the cell phone. So just text him, if not once, twice, 3 times, okay? He should answer you, okay? Alright, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so if you make the note, what we call in English IOU, right? IOU, right? IOU, and it's promissory notes. Okay, so the promissory note is the basic evidence of debt. Okay, 它有金据，你欠别人的钱。Okay, it shows who owes how much to whom. Right, 你欠人家多少钱 ？Okay, 这是这个借款书。So it looks something like this. Okay, typically a couple of pages, not very long. Okay, the amount, right? How much? Date, property address. Okay, what the percentage rate is, right? Percentage. And how much you pay, right? On what day? The first day, beginning on when, and make payment at whatever it is. Monthly payment will be, X dollars. Okay, that how much you're gonna be paying back, right? The schedule, loan charges, right? The interest rate. Okay, something like that. Okay, so that was an example of a note, 借款书例子. Okay, what is negotiable instrument? There are promissory notes that are freely transferable. Okay, 你的借款书别人可以买卖的。Okay, 有投资人可以投资这种借款书，这是 negotiable instrument. 很像钞票一样， right? 我给你这个借款书， 它有价值在里面哦 ，OK， 因为它30年，它有每一个月还你多少钱，这个价值在这边 ，OK， 然后有抵押房子押注 ，so this note, they promise to pay you back how many percentage, how much payment each month, for how long, and you have a collateral with it, okay? Alright, so it's almost always accompanied by security instrument. Security instrument is your collateral. Collateral. Okay? It gives the creditor the right to have the security property sold, right, to satisfy the debt if the debtor fails to pay the debt according to the terms of the agreement. What's the agreement? The note, right? Okay? 你这个 security instrument 这是你一个抵押书了 ，OK？ 你不付钱的话 ，right？ 银行有权利去拍卖你的房子，用这笔钱去还他这个钱 ，OK？ The security instrument may be either deed of trust or a mortgage. Okay, 现代化的话 nowadays you only got two types. You do a mortgage or you do a trust deed or deed of trust. Okay, let's see what the difference is. They will talk about it. Okay, the deed of trust, or they call it the trust deed. Okay, now this word deed is very confusing. Okay, this is not the title of your deed. Okay, this is not your right to a property. Okay, this is literally meaning your collateral. Okay, your collateral. I misspelled it. Okay, collateral. Okay, so 这个单词 trustee 或 deed of trust， 它不是产权证 ，OK， 它是一个抵押书，这个也要记住。Okay, deed of trust or trust deed is a commonly used security device. Okay, you have three parties in there. Okay, the borrower, okay, or they call it the grantor or the trustor, right, or the borrower. Okay, that's party one. Party two is the beneficiary. It's the bank, or they call it the lender. And number three is the trustee. So trustee work for the bank. Okay, and the trustee is like a third party. Okay, just like a escrow. Okay, third party. They will hold what? Hold the deed of trust. Okay, in the hand. They keep that document. So if grantor defaults, okay, they're not paying, the bank will tell, hey, trustee, we have a problem here. Houston, we have a problem, right? They didn't pay us for 3 months. Okay, start foreclosure. and then the trustee will issue a NOD, notice of default, and then start the foreclosure. Okay, so the deed of trust, which is the lien, right? 这个抵押 give the creditor, the bank, the right to force the sale of the property, 拍卖他的房子。If the debtor defaults, 如果欠债的人不付钱 on the application under the promissory note or the trustee. Okay, 他跟着他这个借款书跟他抵押书说明。Okay, so in order for a bank to do the loan, two items is needed. One is the note, okay, plus the trustee. Okay, you have to have these two before they give you money. Okay, so in order to get money from the bank, you need to provide the bank with the promissory note and a trustee, the security instrument. In other states, you do a mortgage. Okay. Alright, requirement for a valid trustee. Okay, 有效的抵押书是什么 ？Okay. So in the trustee or deed of trust, it's a statement pledging the property as collateral, right? The granting clause. 这个抵押书里面声明 ，OK， 是拿栋房子 ，OK， 这是押注借款给这个屋主 ，OK。A complete and ambiguous property description. They have to tell what the property is, right? Amount of the debt, 借款额度。Maturity date of the debt, okay, 什么时候还清。Deficiency clause, right, stating the trustee will be cancelled when the debt is paid. 它还有一个结束的，还清之后 ，OK， 他就还给他这个抵押书。And then power sell clause, right? 万一你不付钱的话，我们有权利拍卖你的房子。Okay, so all of these have to be included in the deed of trust or trustee. Okay, so when the debt is fully paid, beneficiary direct the trustee to reconvey the title to the trustor. So on here, right, when they pay off everything, okay, they owe them nothing now, right? Beneficiary will tell the trustee, okay, release the deed of trust and give them the reconveying trust, reconveying deed, okay? So as a receipt that they pay everything off. Okay, 他还清的时候的话， right, 银行会交代这个 trustee 操作人给这个屋主借款者 ，OK， 一个收条 ，OK， 讲，付清了，恭喜你付清了。So it's called a deed of reconveyance, returns full title to the maker of the debt. Okay, 那房子没有这个押捆在上面 ，OK， 没有抵押了 ，OK， 他的抵押书就还给这个屋主，他不是给他这个 deed of trust trustee 回给他，他另外给他一个叫 deed of reconveyance， 这是金据 ，right， 他的收条还清了。Alright, so deed of trust looks something like this. Okay, you have short form and long form. Okay, 它有长型的跟短型的，长型的比较复杂了。OK， 这个内容比较多。OK， 短型的话就大概6到8页吧。OK， 长的话10几页的。So again, you know, it says this is a security instrument, right? 抵押。借款者是谁 ？Okay, this is the owner. ？Lender 银行是谁 ？OK， 然后他借款多少 ？OK， 那个额度 amount right plus interest okay and then what type of loan is it? Adjustable rate, right? Is it a second, right? What type of loan it is? Okay. So this is a sample of a deed of trust. 这个是抵押出的一个 sample. Okay. Well, let's talk about foreclosure. Okay. 拍卖。万一他真的付不出来这个钱怎么办？A deed of trust allows beneficiary who's the beneficiary? 银行 the bank to foreclose, right? 让银行去拍卖 the lien, which is the house, 抵押房 okay? Without the burden of bringing legal action. 他都不用上法庭去告你了 okay? 他是通过这个抵押书 deed of trust and they could foreclose you. This is called a non-judicial foreclosure. 不通过法庭的来拍卖 which is foreclosure without having go to court. Okay? 不通过法庭去拍卖你的房子 Okay, power of sale. In the deed of trust or trust deed, right, they have a clause in there that will allow the bank, okay, and authorize the trustee to sell the property without court supervision if the borrower defaults. Okay, so it may read something like this, okay? So read it at your own, okay? This is saying that if the default does not occur, right, 没有受理好 right 恢复 right 他没办法只有拍卖你的房子 okay alright trustee sale 万一你真的没有钱去付的话 right 他就是拍卖了 it's called trustee sale so at the direction of the beneficiary okay 银行指挥这个操作人去做个 out of court sale auction 拍卖 called trustee sales. The proceeds, the proceeds, right? 钱从这个拍卖就付清，有时候不够付的 ，OK？ 这个借款人的债务。However, before trustee can sell the property, certain legal requirement must be met. OK， 90天之外 ，right？ 他要做个 NOD (Notice of Default). 90 days without payment, right? They could issue a notice of default. Then they have 90 days or 3 months to make good. Okay? Before they issue the notice of sale, NOS. Okay? 然后他给他3个月，就是另外90天去赎这个房子回来了。OK？ 这是补，这是欠款了。OK？ 如果还没有的话，他就宣布拍卖了 ，okay? Notice of sale. And then whoever bought the house, right? They give them a trustee deed. 买主买的拍卖成功的买主，这个 trustee 就给他一个产权证，叫 trustee's deed. The trustee will give the buyer a trustee's deed as evidence that now they own the property. Okay, so trustee apply the sale proceed to following order, right? 他这个钱来付什么东西了 right? Pay the trustee's cost and sales expense. Okay? 付操作人的费用的拍卖的钱 okay? Satisfy the beneficiary's debt. 赔偿银行 okay, and pay junior lien, okay, 他要付第二贷款、第三贷款等等 ，okay, to the debtor if any， 省下来如果有的话就还给屋主，很多时候就零的了 ，OK， 有时候都不够付这个第一贷款的银行 ，OK。Sometimes it's not enough to pay any junior lien or even the first lien position, okay? If they cannot pay the first lien position, right, they take it back, right, that's the REO. The bank now owns it, okay? 银行都收房子了 ，OK？ 因为他不够付自己的费用的话， right? 他都不卖了 ，OK？ Alright, default and foreclosure of a trustee. 我们看看，他可能给你一个时间表了 ，OK？ Okay, so this is the timeline, okay? So let's look at it. Okay, so a grace period set the number of days in which the lender will allow payment to be late without any penalty. So typically grace period, right? If it's the first, okay, and this is the 30th or the 31st, they typically give you 10 days. Most banks give you 15 days. If you're over here, then you're late. They charge you a late fee. Okay, but if you're over here, right, that's no, right? You got ding your credit, right? More than 30 days. Your 700 FICO will drop like a rock. It goes to 500. Okay, 200 plus points drop. Okay, and if you ever have this happen to you, very bad. Okay, you can get a loan within 2 years. 重贷款都很难了 ，OK， 但是有些银行 make an exception. Okay, for valid reasons. Okay, so this is your grace period, 15 days. So if you did not pay 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Okay? So this is where 90 days is. They issue you a notice of default. Okay, NOD. And now you have 3 months okay, to pay back. It's called reinstatement period. Okay, 在3个月之后 right, 你可以还他这个钱，这个债户3个月之内。And then comes here, they issue you a NOS, notice of sale. 21 days, 3 weeks. Each week they have to publish in a newspaper, right? 他有登报纸，每个礼拜3个礼拜有宣布拍卖你的房子。Okay, so this is the sell date. Okay, so you need 5 business days before sell date. Okay, to get your house back. If not, they cannot stop the train. Right? They cannot stop the foreclosure. 你拍卖这一天 ，OK， 5个工作天之前，你要全恢复，来赔就是付清你所欠的东西，他就可以停那个拍卖。OK， 你没有这个5个工作天的话， 就不行了 ，OK， 你又带这个现金在场地上面去标自己的房子，把它标回来 ，OK。So California law says that a lender cannot charge late fee until the payment is more than 10 days late. Okay, that's the law. But most banks, they use 15 days. Because of the mailing, right? 寄讯啊等等 right? 那给你5天的时间。So what they mean is that they have to have the funds in their hands, right? Saying stamp received before the 15th to be valid. Okay? Not postmark, right? In their hands, okay? 银行收到你的支票在他手上 ，OK？ 还是他有这个时间戳在这个10号之前。Okay, so this is the timeline, okay? 这个是这个时间表 ，OK？ 90天 ，90 days, 90 days plus 21 days, right? So a total of 180, 201 days. Okay? So 6 months and 21 days. About 7 months. Okay? That's the quickest time they could foreclose your house. 7 months. In between, you could do loan modification, short sale, etc. Right? 中途的话，你可以做更新贷款，就是 loan mod， 还是你短买屋等等，都可以的 ，OK？ 但是，很多时候呢就没有这个机会。Alright, trustors' right to reinstatement. 3 months only, right? Actually, you know, from the moment they don't pay, you know, they actually have 6 months, right? Officially, they have 3 months, okay? 这个借款者应该有6个月的时间了 ，OK？ 他正规的宣布他拍卖他有3个月 ，OK？ 但是他前面这3个月也是可以筹备钱 ，OK？ To do this, the trustor must pay the beneficiary the following. 如果他赎房子回来的话，他要付什么东西 ？What do they have to pay? All past due payments, penalties, taxes, and interest. OK？ 他所有欠的债户，加上罚金、税跟利息。Any other cost to the beneficiary, right? 银行所有的费用。All costs and fees owed to the trustee. 敲作人的费用。So after recording of the notice of default and election to sell, the trustee must wait 90 days before publishing notice of sale. 他必须要等90天，这是你3个月的时间去赎房子回来。Okay? The notice must be published in newspaper general circulation once a week during the 21-day publish period. So they have to publish it 3 times. Okay? The trustee sale is the non-judicial foreclosure, 不通过法庭的拍卖 under the power of sale clause in the deed of trust and promissory notes held at the time and place stated in the notice of sale. Okay? 他拍卖的不通过法庭的拍卖，然后通过这个借款书跟抵押书的内容的条件来拍卖你的房子，然后在哪里、什么时间，就是通知你拍卖这个条子上面。 Alright, other remedies for non-payment of trust deed, OK， 其他的方式不通过拍卖的话，有什么 ？Judicial court foreclosure for trust deed, very rare, OK， 他通过法庭来拍卖你的房子，比较少了 ，OK。Deed in lieu of foreclosure, OK， 这是 what does that mean? That means you tell the bank, don't foreclose me. Here are the keys. Take my house. Take it. OK, don't foreclose. Just take it. OK， 这个呢就是你让银行不拍卖 ，OK， 你就给钥匙给这个房子给银行了，不用免的这个拍卖这个过程 ，OK， 但是这个记录也是不良的 ，OK，Deed in lieu of foreclosure， 但是好过他真的硬性的拍卖你的房子。And then another one, short sale, right？ 短卖屋 ，OK， they have to accept a price lower than what is owed to them。烟水屋嘛 ，right？ 拍卖短卖屋 ，OK。So let's say you bought a house 500,000, okay, and you owe the bank 400K, okay. 我们讲 ，OK， 你买房子是50万 ，right？ 你欠银行40万 ，OK。过了5年之后，等等 ，right？ 不单止这个价位 ，right？ 它掉的大概是35万，所以你的贷款呢就高于价面，市面价 ，OK。所以你必须要卖低于这个，大概这个 ，OK， 你可能卖到33万5 ，OK， 所以你还欠银行的钱呢，所以银行呢要同意你做短卖屋，他们的投资人又接受，他亏了6万5 ，OK， 只是你这个5年了 ，OK。你已经付进去 ，OK， 大概10万块了 ，OK， 所以他亏什么？亏时间，时间就是钱嘛 ，right？ 但是他的本他还保住40万 ，OK。So short sale 短卖屋 ，deed in lieu of foreclosure 就是放弃了，给银行钥匙 ，OK， 然后还有通过法庭拍卖的。Alright, advantage and disadvantage of the trustee, right? 有些好的，有些坏处 ，OK? So the creditor, the bank, the main advantage, right, is quick. 对银行来讲的话很快 ，inexpensive 不是很贵 ，right? And no post right of redemption, right? 它之后呢房子就处理了 ，OK？ 你也不可以赎房子回来了 ，OK？ 超过这个3个月。The primary disadvantage is that the deficiency judgment is unattainable after the non-judicial foreclosure. 如果你拍卖不够这个钱的话 ，right， 你就亏了 ，OK， 银行就亏这部分 ，OK， 这是不良的地点。So you cannot say, hey, you know, the market did not bring, you still owe me 50 grand, right? Cannot do that, okay? Once it's done, it's done. Unless they did refinancing, that's a different story, right? 如果他重贷款的话就不一样了 ，right？ 他多抽来这个钱，这个银行可以追究的。就是买房的时候这个额度 ，OK， 他不可以超过这个。Alright, mortgages, OK， 我们看另外一种方式，另外一种抵押方式 ，OK， it's a different type of collateral, OK, called mortgages, which we don't use here in California. It's most prevalent in the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, right? They use mortgages. So it's a two-party instrument in which the borrower mortgages his or her property to the lender. The mortgagor is the borrower. Okay, borrow. offer. Okay, see the O's. Okay, mortgagee is the lender. Okay, don't get it mixed up. Okay, two E's. Okay, mortgagor, O, borrower, mortgagee, E, the lender. Remember that, OK？ 你要记住 ，OK？ 这个 O 这是清款姐 ，E 这是银行 lender。For the most part, lenders prefer the deed of trust to mortgage. 很多银行都想做这个 trust deed。OK，mortgage 比较麻烦，比较贵，去拍卖也是长时间。A foreclosure under a mortgage requires court-ordered sale conducted by a sheriff or other court-appointed official. 听上来就贵很多了 right? So it's called a judicial foreclosure through the courts. Okay? After the judge, then you have the order of execution. Okay? A judgment from the judge saying that yes, go and foreclose. Okay, 那通过法庭和法官还有 issue 一个命令去拍卖。Okay, redemption 怎么赎房子呢？这个情况 ，OK? At any time until the sheriff's sale, the debtor may save the property by paying the mortgage when what is due. 他没有拍卖之前这一天，他可以赎房子回来。This right to save or redeem the property before the sale is called equitable right of redemption. Okay? So, before the sale is called equitable right of redemption, right? 没有拍卖之前的话 right? 他这个权利去赎房子回来，这是叫 equitable right of redemption. The debtor may also be obligated to pay delinquent interest, court costs, attorney's fees, and sheriff's fees in order to redeem the property. 给他赎房子，很多费用要付的 ，OK？ 他的利息啊 ，right？ 法庭的费用、律师费、给警察的费用等等。A sheriff's sale, that's what they call it. Okay? A sheriff's sale is a public auction normally held at the courthouse door, and anyone can bid on the property. 他在法庭门口拍卖。The property is sold to the highest bidder, and the proceeds are used to pay the cost of the sale and to pay off the mortgage. Okay, 他的钱就付什么了？就是费用啊，欠银行的款啊等等。As with the trust deed, any surplus goes to the debtor. 多出来的钱就还给借款者。Okay. If the property does not bring enough money at the sale to pay off the mortgage, the debtor may be able to obtain a deficiency judgment against the debtor for the remaining debt. Okay? 这种拍卖的话，如果他拍卖不够这个钱 ，OK， 这个差额也可以告上去 ，OK， 叫他去赔偿的。So in some states, such as California, deficient judgments are prohibited if the mortgage secured a loan to purchase a 1 to 4 unit personal residence occupied by owner. OK， 加州不可以这样去做 ，OK， 因为加州本身是 trustee state，OK， 但是它这是不是商业的，是1到4个单位的房楼不可以去追求这个欠债，这个差额了 ，OK。Alright, post sales redemption. Okay, so after you sell it, right, you could still redeem the property afterwards. After the sale, the debtor has another opportunity to save or to redeem the property. The debtor can do this by paying the purchaser, the buyer, The amount paid for the property plus accrued interest from the time of the sale. Okay, whatever is bid on the house plus interest. This right is redeemed. To redeem the property following the sheriff's sale is called a statutory right of redemption. Okay, statutory right of redemption. Before the sale is called equitable right of redemption. Okay, so just remember, how do I remember, right? Okay, E before S, right? S is after E. S is for sold, right? 已经卖掉了. Okay, so statutory right of redemption. This is equitable right of redemption. 两个都有权利去赎房子回来，但是名称不一样。Okay, different verbiage for redemption, right? This is before, and this is post. 再讲一讲。Okay, 这个是之前，这个是之后拍卖。Okay. Alright, advantages and disadvantages, right, of the mortgage, right? For the creditor, right, 银行的话 right, main advantage, 这有优惠的话 right, 它不够这个钱 right, 签那个钱不够，拍卖不够这个钱呢，它还可以追求。The main disadvantage is the creditor concerned the time and expense involved in the execution of judicial foreclosure. So, you know, it takes them maybe a year to foreclose. It takes them another year, right? They could get the property back. Okay, and it's expensive. Okay, so that's a disadvantage, right? 它时间比较长了 ，OK， 它1年之后还可以赎房子哦 ，OK， 你前面拍卖它也差不多大概半年到1年了 ，OK， 然后通过法庭的话就比较贵了 ，OK， the advantage, right? The debtor has time, right? 这个借款者有时间 ，OK， 去筹备钱去赎房子。The mortgagor, right, the borrower, usually has time to get the money together to prevent foreclosure than a trustee borrower. A trustee borrower only have 3 months. Okay, a mortgage borrower, right? They have all the time in the front end and also the back end. Okay, so on the other hand, a disadvantage the mortgagor faces the possibility of deficiency judgment. Okay, 它有一个不优惠的话，就是这个差额它也是有赔偿的，清坤解 ，OK。So whatever is not sold, right? The difference, the bank still go and chase after them. Okay, land contract is a different type of collateral. So they use the title, okay, as a collateral. Okay, what do I mean? Okay, they have to pay off everything, 0 balance, then they transfer title. Okay, 这种协议的话 ，right， 你要付清之后，它的转让产权给你，这样就能保护这个卖主。OK， 你不付清的话，它不转title，这个title还是他的。Okay, a land contract, right? It's also called contract of deed, installment of sales contract, conditional sales contract, and land contracts. 它有很多名称的 ，they have a lot of verbiage for land contracts. That's what they use prior, so they got all different names. Okay, they're very different from mortgages and deed of trust. Land contract, the seller, right, is called a vendor. They retain legal title until the buyer vendee pays off the entire contract. Okay? 卖主屋主 right 他还有产权在他手上，等到买主借款主 OK 付清之后，他就转让那个产权给他。So the seller retain title until everything is paid off, then they transfer title to the buyer. Okay. So during the period of the purchaser's paying for the contract, which may be many years, right? The purchaser has the right to possess and enjoy the property, but is not the legal owner. Okay, 他有权利去住了在里面，用那个房楼，但是他不是正规的屋主。Okay. So advantages and disadvantages, right? For the seller, the land contract is personal satisfaction or security they feel remain the title owner. Okay. 所以对卖主来讲的话，他有个保障 OK 就是他如果真的不付他钱的话，这个房子还是他的。Okay. The main disadvantage is for the vendor is the expense and time required to terminate the contract and retake possession of the property. 如果他真的不付钱的话 ，right， 就比较麻烦了 ，right， 你要把它取消这个 contract， 然后赶他走。So a serious disadvantage for the vendee under the land contract is the fact that the vendor remains the legal owner, unlike mortgages or trustee. Okay. 买主的话的大问题就是 ，OK， 他付钱，但是他不是正规的屋主。OK， 他可能付清之后，他都不知道这个产权怎么样子了，right？ Okay, typical clauses in security instruments. OK， 借款书里面有很多内容的。Acceleration clause, right? What is that? That is allows creditor, right, to accelerate the debt to declare entire balance due immediately in the event of default. 它是给银行 ，right， 这个权利去马上拍卖他的房子，如果他不付他钱。So most lender will wait until payments are at least 90 days delinquent before they enforce the acceleration clause. Okay. 他给他90天的机会去还他钱。So under the California law, if the loan is secured by owner-occupied residential property, the borrower must be allowed to repay up to 20% of the original loan amount in 1 year without penalty. So this is prepayment penalty. Okay, they can prepay up to 20% of the original loan amount without penalty. Okay, 在加州的法律 ，OK， 借款者可以付清到20% 他们的债户每一年都不要付这个罚金 ，OK， 因为有些银行都不给他快速付清 ，OK， 他要赚他的利息嘛 ，OK， 那就20% 可以的 ，OK， 这是法律。Alright, prepayment penalty clause, right? Is helping the banks, right? 就是银行一种方式来赚他们的利息了 ，OK， 给他们时间。Many conventional loans have prepayment provisions. The basic FL prepayment provision is to charge the debtor for paying off the loan too early and depriving lender of receiving the anticipated interest. Okay， 因为你太快付清，哎，银行都没机会去赚你的利息了，就是这个意思。所以他把你抓住 ，OK。但是现在呢，很多银行都 大概6个月吧 ，OK， 6个月就不追求你了 ，OK， 6个月他们 break even，OK， 银行也不赚钱也不亏钱 ，OK， 6个月他可以接受。Alright, alienation clause, right？ 这个是什么 ？Refers to transfer of ownership. Okay, if they discover that you transfer title to someone else, they have the right to call in the loan. Okay, it limits the debtor's right to transfer property without creditor's permission. It's called due on sale clause. Okay, in California, a lender may not enforce the alienation clause and also the prepayment penalty on 1 to 4 unit dwellings. Okay, if I were you, I'll reread this 100 times. Okay, 因为我是你的话，我有读这句话100次。Okay, 为什么 ？Why? Read it again. Okay, in California, that's what we are, right? A lender may not enforce the alienation clause. Okay, 他说他不可以给他用这个 alienation clause， 表示什么？你可以转让房产给另外一个人。Okay, 所以 you could use subject to in California. Okay, I'll talk about that later on when we have time. Okay. 一种方式就是转让卖房子，但是用以前的贷款 ，OK？ 这个方式可以赚一些钱 ，OK？ Alright, subordination clause. What does that mean? That means whoever give out the most money, they become number one, okay? Generally, the priority among the mortgages, right, and trustee is determined by the day of recording. The first recorded instrument being the first in priority, right? But in some situation, right, parties may decide that the later recorded instrument have priority over the earlier recorded instrument because of the dollar amount. Okay, 它的额度如果有大的话 ，right， 它就我放款比你多，所以我有排第一。This is particularly common in construction financing. 金主贷款的方面的话就是这样子 ，A subordination clause states that the instrument in which it is contained will be subordinate junior to a construction loan lien mortgage to be recorded later. Okay, so it depends on if they have a subordination clause. Okay, this is banking to bank. Okay, this is bank to bank. Okay, they set the priority among themselves. Okay, 他们做生意的规矩了 ，OK， 这个跟我们那个消费者没有关了 ，OK， 就影响不大 ，OK， 但是他们的操作方式就不一样 ，OK。Alright, partial release, satisfaction, or reconveying clause. This means the same thing. Okay. It obligates the creditor to release part of the property from the lien when part of the debt has been paid. Typically, this is for construction loans. Okay. 他就是放款嘛 ，right？ 他还钱，还一批一批还，然后他就一路路放这个放款出来，所以它只是 partial release. Okay, so if you look at this, right? If they use trust deeds, it's called partial reconveyance. If you use mortgages, it's called partial satisfaction. If you use land contracts, it's called partial release. Okay? Different type of instrument, collateral instrument, you should use different terms. Okay? 你用不同的抵押书，它就用不同的单词来表达。Okay? 放一部分，这个就是退回去。OK？ 这个押房了。OK？ So such clauses are also frequently found in blanket mortgages or trust deeds, covering subdivision, okay, in the process of being developed and sold. 很多金主商都是用这种方式来做贷款。Okay, so this finished chapter 7. Okay, now is 4:30. Okay, we've got about half an hour to do chapter 8. So chapter 8 is overview of the loan process. Okay, so I'm gonna do a blitz. This is filling out the application. Okay, so I'll do that next week. Okay, as the main topic. Okay, so let's take a 5-minute break, and then I'll talk about how to qualify buyers. Alright, so we'll break till 4:35. Okay, see you guys in 3 minutes. Alright, we are back. Alright, how to qualify a buyer or borrower, right? Buyer if you're doing a purchase loan, okay? A borrower, or just do a refi, okay? Similar applications. Okay, let me get rid of this one. Okay, so that's two examples. One is you look at house price. Okay, then you ask, how much does the buyer have to make? Okay, per month, okay, or per year to qualify. Okay, or the other question is that, okay, my buyer has X dollar per month or per year, okay, how big a house can they buy that they qualify to buy? Okay, so we'll look at both sides of the equation. Alright, so typically, right, the better way is use number 2. Okay, because if you look at a house first, right, this is the target, right? Oh, I want to buy a $500,000 home, right? And then they find out that they don't make this money, and then you get a big disappointment, and then you have a big letdown, right? As, oh, I give up, right? I couldn't buy my dream home, etc. Okay, so it's better to use this method to see how much home can you buy that you can live with, right? So that way it's more positive, right? Once they know this, you go shopping, okay? Because if you do it this way, they have a target already, right? Then you wait for their salary to go up, okay? So number 2 is the better way to qualify. So let's look at number 2. Okay, let's say a buyer or buyers, husband and wife, right? Talk about their combined income. Okay, let's say the combined income, they equal basis, right? They each make 50K. Okay, together they make 100K. Okay, this is the gross income. Okay, let me go back and explain in Chinese. Okay， 我们有2种方式去看那个买主结婚节 ，OK， 他可以贷款贷多少 ，OK， 唯一的方式你就看屋子的房子的价值，然后反过来算他需要多少钱一个月还是一年都可以买到这个房子。第二个方式呢，你就看他的收入是多少，然后呢你讲给他听你只可能买多少的房子。OK， 我觉得第二个方式比较好，因为第一个方式他的目标值是50万的房子，然后他不够这个公司来买这个房子的话，你就要等待他 ，OK， 他我筹备多点那个首付，还是呢我等我工资升高就可以买了 ，OK， 所以反过来的话，我觉得这个不太好 ，OK， 比较好的方式是说，你现在多少钱 ，OK， 夫妻2个加孩子，等等 ，OK， 总共你有多少这个收入？ OK， 然后我们算一算，你就买多少钱的房子。它标好之后，就马上去看房子了。OK， 去 shopping。好，我们看看，如果两个夫妻加起来5万块、5万块、10万块的话 ，right？ 我们用的是 AGI，OK，AGI。What is AGI？Adjusted Gross Income。它抵完税等等的 ，OK， child credit 等等 ，OK，they have 100K，OK， if they own a business, okay, their gross income could be 100K, but after all the deductions, okay, they may end up with 30K only. Okay, so we look at the AGI. Okay, not the gross income. Okay, adjusted gross income. Okay, 这是抵完税的额度。Okay， 好了，我们的assuming 100K. Alright, so according to conventional rule, you have to know this, okay, on the test. 28, okay, 36. 前面的数值的话 ，OK， 就是所有房屋的债户，后面的话所有债户的总数 of the adjusted gross income. Okay, so you look at the monthly now. Okay, so let's say 100K divided by 12 equals what? Okay, get your calculator out. So each month they have available to them, okay, per month. Now, of which 28% of this is good for housing. Okay, so 0.28. $8,333 times 0.28. Okay, 2333. Okay. Now, most banks realize that 28% ratio, the debt to income ratio, is very stringent. Okay. So most banks they work with 45%. And you're gonna see the difference later, right? So with 45%, what's the amount? Okay, 8333 times 0.45. That'll be 3750. Okay. Now, looking at this two, right? This is the main thing, okay? This is what the industry standard, okay? Because this is more stringent. So, you know, this is the amount of PITIA that they're paying for. What is PITIA? Principal, interest, taxes, property taxes, insurance, and association fees, HOA. Okay? 本、利息、房产税、保险跟社区费，总共 right 标准的话2300。Okay? 借款的话额度可以拿到3700。So what's the next thing that you're gonna do? Okay, so first you have to figure out step number one. Okay? Number two, you have to figure out the property taxes, insurance, association. So assuming association is 0, okay? You don't want to pay HOA. Assuming that, okay? But sometimes you cannot, right? So whatever it is, put that in, okay? But we're assuming 0. 我们就是买房子没有社区费的 okay? And then insurance is typically Okay, 0.15%. Okay, typically. Okay, and then tax, right? We use 1.25 for LA County. Now, all of this is different, right? Because how do you know? Okay, you have to ask the buyer, where do you want to buy your house, right? Do you want to buy in LA County, San Bernardino County, Fontana, Rancho, right? Then we know the tax rate, right? We could roughly estimate the tax rate. Okay, so we use 1.25 Los Angeles County. And let's assume that they do want to buy $500,000 home, right? So if we use 500, okay, times 1.25, okay, this you have to assume, okay, you cannot go around not assuming, okay. So 500,000 times 0.0125, that's $6,000, 250 divided by 12, and you have 520. Okay, so 0.15 for $500,000 home times 0.0015, 750 divided by 12. Okay, $63. Okay, so $63. So it's 583. Okay, and HOA is 0, right? Okay, so TIA, this portion is 583. So you subtract this, right? 583. Okay, this one you have 2333 minus 583. You have 1750. Okay, this one you have 3750 minus 583. You have 3167. Okay, what does that mean? That means you're left with the P and I, right? Principal and interest, right? 你减掉 right? 你这个 PITIA 减掉 TIA 的话 right? 这个 28% 有1750，这个有3167。Okay. Another thing now, you have to assume an interest rate. Okay. Given an interest rate of 4.5. Okay. For every $100,000 borrow, it's gonna cost you $500 per month. Okay. Right now, you know, the full documentation, right? You could get 3.5. Okay, 3.5. You may want to use 400. Okay, 400 per month. Okay, but let's use 4.5. Okay. So when you do that, you divide $500 into, right, this amount. So for this, you got 1750 divided by 500. Okay, 3.5. What does that mean? 3.5. 3.5 times 100K. That means they could borrow $350,000. Okay. Now, what about the other case here, right? 3167, right? 3167 divided by 500. They could borrow 6.3, 630,000. There's a big range here, right? Okay. And now number 4. What's number 4? You have to find out how much down payment they have saved up. Okay. Now, if they have down payment, let's say they only have down payment, let's say it's 200K, which is rare, right? Then with this, right, they qualify. They could buy a $500,000 home, right? 550, right? They overqualify to buy that, right? They could buy more. Okay? Or they don't have to use up the whole down payment and they could buy higher. If they could go up to here, right? They could buy $830,000 home. So 550 to 830K home, okay? But do on the lower side, right? So 28% Belgian, the standard. So this couple do qualify, okay? With this down payment. What if they only have 100K? Right? 450, right? But you could go up a little bit higher on the DTI, right? But if you want to be more conservative, right? Okay, 你比较保守的话, right? Just use 43%. Okay. Or another notch up, 36%. Okay, 36%. That's the total debt, right? Let's say they don't have any other debt other than a home, right? So if you use 36%, right? Let's do an exercise. Times 8333, okay? That's $3,000. Okay, 3,000块. Okay, and then you minus 583. Okay, you still have 2416 divided by 500, 4.8. Okay, if you use 36, right? They could borrow up to $480,000. Okay, if they have 100K, they could buy 580. If they have 200K, they could buy 680. Okay, so this is another factor, okay, that you have to consider, the down payment. Now the closing cost, right, is typically not more than 1.5%. Okay, $7,000 to $10,000. Okay, so closing cost, CC. So there you have it. Okay, from the income, okay, you could derive at how much house that they could buy. If they have 200K, you could buy this. If they have 100K, they buy 450, okay, to 730. But using 36, right, they could buy in the middle. Okay, so the other way, if you figure out the house price, right, you know how to do that already, right? Go reverse, right? Because you assume this is a $500,000 home, then you go back, right? Do all your math backwards and arrive at 100,000. Okay, let's assuming that you use 36%. Okay, so if you use 28%, right, you're gonna come up with 100 grand. Okay, so just work all of the equations backwards. Okay, and if you have any questions, give me a call. If you do some exercise, okay, assuming that this couple have half, right, or 80K or whatever, give yourself an example, okay, do it, do the homework, okay, 做这个题，来自己操作一两个题出来，然后呢你就熟悉怎么去 qualify 你的 buyer，OK？So 从我们的角度来看的话，你应该去看他们赚多少钱，来帮他们买多少这个房 ，OK？ 从贷款是 a little bit different because things change, right? The equity in there change, right? And the income also change. Okay, so refi, you have to look at what they have in equity to determine, right, if they could do a refi to how much, right? How much cash they could pull out. It depends on how much money that they make. Okay, 这个从贷款的话就不一样了 ，right？ 因为你不知道他房价 ，OK， 加上他们的收入，它会改变的嘛 ，right？ 它可能2年、3年的 value 都不一样了 ，right？ 这个房价也不一样，它的 income 也不一样 ，OK？ 所以我们就重算 ，OK？ 但是 refi 跟 purchase 这个比例，这个 DTI，OK？ 是差不多了 ，OK？ So okay, so we're gonna end here. Next week we're gonna do chapter 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? If we cannot finish 12, we'll leave it the next time. Okay? But next week we're gonna do the loan application. Okay? Very, very important, loan application. And the whole process. Okay? Loan application. 我们这个1003的表 Okay? You know how to do that. Okay? Most people, they got the license coming out, they don't even know how to fill a 1003 form. Okay, so you're gonna learn how to do that. Okay, you're gonna be a professional MLO. Alright, see you guys all next week, and stay home, stay fit, and stay safe. I'll sign off. Okay guys, we're gonna end the stream here. So see you guys next week. Stay home, stay fit, stay safe. Hmm?